Today, I'm going to be showing you how to build this very easy raid farm for your Minecraft Bedrock Edition worlds. This farm is an incredibly easy thing to build, it's not very complicated, and it gives really good rates. Speaking of rates, let's talk rates. When using this farm, every hour you can expect 40 levels, 500 emeralds. However, if you use this farm with looting 3, you can expect that to go to around 1,000, 40 totems of undying, and over 20 enchanted books. But like I said, if you use this farm with looting 3, all of those rates are going to at least double, if not triple, except for the totems of undying. Alright, well now we've talked rates, but how do you use the raid farm? Well, it's actually pretty simple. So starting down here at the bottom, we have this trident killer set up on the spawn spot where the guys with the banners will spawn to give you bad omen. So when using this farm, you need to start by turning that on, and then you can go up to your AFK spot. Now the AFK spot is exactly 42 blocks up from here. This way, those guys down there that give you the bad omen are sitting exactly on the edge of your spawning sphere. If you were 1 block higher, they would be unable to spawn and this farm would not work. Now, you're going to end up sitting here until you get bad omen in this little AFK box, and in this AFK box, there's a lever to turn on the trident killers up above. Now, next to your AFK box, we have this little water trout. This is where all the XP and items from the guys will come down. You will pick up the XP through these blocks, and the items will continue down to your storage. Now this little box right here, this is where the villager is sitting with his bed. This way you can actually run a raid farm, because without a village, there will not be a raid. Also, if you're wondering why there are boats on top of the AFK spot, I put those there just in case Vexes spawn, because I don't want to die to Vexes. And then finally, if we head inside here, this is just where the raiders spawn. They spawn in this 9x8 water trout. They get pushed all the way up until here. I just picked up one of the tridents by accident. But they get pushed all the way until they go into here, where they then float up. Their heads are then level with these tridents, where they get killed. And then all their items and XP float down to the AFK spot. Now, one issue I would like to mention with this farm has to do with the Ravengers. For some odd reason, Ravengers seem to just kind of run in the opposite direction of the water, so they end up just getting stuck there for a little while. They will always eventually make it to the tridents and die, but sometimes they do just start running in the opposite direction, and it is very annoying because it stops the whole farm while you wait for that Ravenger to die, pretty much. Yeah, the Ravengers do make this farm relatively annoying. Anyway, now that all of the information for this farm is done, let's go ahead and get into the tutorial now, shall we? Now, first thing we gotta do is set up that bottom trident killer. Now, normally, the spawn block on the bottom is going to be 1 block away from this stair, so you got 1 and then 2, so right here, with the 1 block away in between. Now, these guys will only spawn on the northwestern corner of the block, so what we're gonna do is grab a locator map. Up is north, so this is north, west is to the left, so this corner is the side that they will spawn on. And to test that we are right, what we're going to do is put up 4 glass panes like this, and if that is the correct spawning spot, these pillagers will be trapped there when they start to spawn. So now we're going to back up a little bit, and we're just going to wait, and there they are. They spawned, and they are trapped in the glass panes. So now we can go ahead and kill those pillagers, and we now know that this is our spawning spot. So we are going to need to remove this pillar to build this. This may be different for all of you, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a block, hi Mr. Creeper, in each of these locations like this, and then I'm going to put a stair in each of these locations. I'm going to put the creeper back downstairs and block him off. And we're just going to try to push them into this little trout here. Okay, right here, just like this. Now right here is going to be where I put my chest, so I'm going to put the chest right here. I'm going to put a hopper in the back right there. I'm going to break out all of the floor blocks because I really don't like it when the floor blocks are not the same. And now we have a pretty good start. So we're going to take all this up by 2. I like to make this glass so we can see inside. And we're going to leave this little gap right here for water to continue to run, because I've noticed an issue. If the water stops on the final block, the pillagers will stop and they'll start running backwards here. But if it continues going, they're more likely to go up to the edge and die. Really weird, but I have noticed that to be the case. Now we're going to go ahead and waterlog each of these stairs, but it's flowing here, and you can't have water on this block, otherwise your pillagers will not spawn. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a hole right there, just like this, and when you put the block back, the water will not flow backwards. You need a glass block here. I'm going to go ahead and put a torch here just to keep inside nice and lit up. If the water goes back like that, again, just redo this step and it will fix it. Then we're going to cover the top there with leaves. You need a solid block here. And now we need to put in the trident killer. To do this, we're going to need a piston in this location, 1 block away from this head block. And then we can encase that on either side. Now on this block, we're going to put a redstone torch here with a repeater going that way. A block above that torch, put a block there, and redstone dust there. You can then put a lever on that to turn it on and off. And finally get a trident in that hole right there. And when you turn this on, you'll hear the trident going and you'll see it poking through right there. We can now go ahead and turn that off, and we need to go upwards now. Now to go upwards, take the Y level of this platform, for me that's 130, and add 42 to it. So for me that would be 172. Head up to your roof and go into the center. Take scaffolding and just go all the way up until you reach whatever your number was. For me that was 172. And there we go. Now I'm at 172. Now this is going to be where we build our AFK spot. So I'm going to start by putting down the little platform for me to stand on. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill in the back of this. And the roof, make sure the roof is made out of leaves. Leaves and scaffolding are the only blocks that raid members cannot spawn on. Now I also am going to add in the water trout, just like this. Make sure to surround it so that the water doesn't flow out somewhere. And then this is where I need it to flow. Now you guys can have yours go anywhere, but since my item storage is set up right here, this block right here is where I need my water to flow to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up just like this. And I do remember that there was an issue where it couldn't flow all the way before. And just to check, what we're going to do is we're going to put this block in temporarily to get our water in. And we see the water ends here, so yep, we're going to need this to go down a block and then continue over until we reach where we need it, where we're then going to build a little containment section like this. And we're going to put a sign on the end to prevent the water from flowing downwards. Now we just got to go ahead and put in the walls on the side of this end of the water trout. Break this block here, and your water should perfectly fill up your space. Now for you this might be different depending on where your item storage is set up. Now we can go ahead and put in the glass on our box. And then I'm going to put in a redstone lamp, and this is going to be how we turn our farm on and off. We're also going to go ahead and put a lever on that lamp. Now we can go ahead and get ready to install our farm. Now to do this, we're going to go up by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 blocks from here. This is going to be the location where our villager sits, right here on block number 11. But we're going to do that a bit later. What we need to go ahead and do is set up our water trout. So from here, we're going to go up an additional 1, 2, 3 blocks. And this is going to be where the drop chute starts. So we're going to go up with 4 in a solid block. And we're going to create this little item funnel right here. Bring all of that up to the level 4. And now from here, we need to start actually building the water trout. So first, we're going to need to build the section where the items are actually collected. So to do this, we're going to set up this little thing right here. It's going to be this width right here, just like this. And this is going to be the back wall right here. Now this needs to be 9 long, so 4 blocks on either side of the hole, just like that. And then an additional 3 on this side, so there we go, that is now 9. Then you can just put in walls on the sides, and we can take these walls up a little bit. You do need a wall in the front, 1 block tall, just like this. Now we can grab out our water stone buttons and signs. You're going to need a stone button right here with a water source in either corner. This way all the items will be drawn exactly to here. And I am oh so sorry, but we actually need to move this forward by a block. Because if you look down the hole, it lands on this block right here, that glass block, and it's supposed to land in the middle of the water trout, so the hole needs to be here. So I'm very sorry, let's go ahead and fix that real quick. Very easy fix, all we gotta do is remove the back wall here. That does mean that the entire hole needs to be moved over, because the hole needs to be centered on this block instead. So once we rebuild the funnel there, we can go ahead and put in the back wall again. Just kind of fixing everything up. And then eventually everything will be tidied up just like this again. Check that the hole is now in the proper location, which it is. And now we can go ahead and put in the stone button again, the 2 water buckets again, and we can carry on. Now from here, you're going to want a layer of blocks right here. And you're going to want all of these to have a stone button on top of them. We are also going to want to fill in the back everywhere except for that hole. Be sure to bring up your walls another block. So you should have something looking just like this as of right now. Now this is where we're going to take some signs and we're going to go all the way across here. Now you can do what you want for these areas, but I like to make these 8 blocks windows on either side so that you can actually see into your farm. Do what you will, but before you put in the signs, make up your mind, because otherwise you have to break the block to change that. Now we're just going to go ahead and take our signs all the way down. And there you go, now we're at the end. Now we're going to put a water bucket in each corner, just like this. They should meet in the middle, so if you were to stand on either end, it'll pull you to the middle. And now, to ensure that any raid members cannot go down that, we need to put on a roof, just like this. So that you have this layer of blocks here, so the raid members get sucked up and they're right here, but they can't actually go down. And then we're just going to go ahead and fill in the back of this completely like this. So that's all solid, and this now works. Do not forget to put a stone button there above the hole, otherwise you will have water in there and it won't actually travel with the items and experience correctly. Now we need to go ahead and take our entire platform back by an additional 7 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We can go ahead and fill this entire thing in to make a 8 by 9 platform here for the water to go on. So there's that. Go ahead and run the little wall all the way around it. And then we can go ahead and bring up the walls as well. There you go. Take your water buckets and run it all the way along the back wall. All of that water should run up to this edge perfectly. And now we can go ahead and put on a roof. To do this, we're going to go up by 1 more block, and we're just going to go ahead and fill it all in, covering the entirety of the build. Once your roof is on, you can go on inside, and you will see this is how this is supposed to be. This is the end. However, we need to punch out these 3 blocks because this is where our trident killer needs to get put in. So let's just go ahead and remove this little section of blocks. These right here are going to be there. That is the ceiling. So this block right here needs to be air, and then you need 3 pistons right here so that when they extend, they are flush with that block. And these are the inside block edge of the ceiling, the center 3, so this is where the mob's heads will be, and the tridents are going to impale them through the wall. So you can go ahead and grab your impaling 5 tridents. We can go 1, 2, and 3. We're going to put 3 redstone dust on the back here. And then we're going to put 3 blocks in these locations like this, with an additional 1 here. This is where we're going to put redstone dust. This is where we're going to put a redstone torch. And this is where we're going to put our repeater. And that will make your pistons just start going. We're going to go ahead and turn that off with a lever temporarily until we can run a line down to our redstone lamp to actually have the on and off switch be down there. Now before we run that line, let's real quickly cover this roof with leaves, because if we don't, raiders will be able to spawn on the top of this farm, and if they spawn on the top, then the farm breaks because they won't be in the kill chamber, they'll be on top, and you personally are going to have to come up here and kill them all by hand, which is no fun and nobody wants to deal with. So just make sure that you're being thorough when putting the leaves in your farm. And yes, do cover your trident killers just like this. Don't put anything on that block, leave those as air, but since that's only a 1 block gap, nothing will be able to spawn there as long as you put leaves over the top right here. Also, put 3 leaves in these locations so that nothing can spawn on this little redstone clock. And now, go ahead and grab out solid blocks and redstone torches. Let's go ahead and run our system all the way down to the lamp. To do this, I'm going to just run blocks all the way down like this. I'm going to go back up to the top, remove this block, put a redstone torch, and then every other block, I'm going to put in a torch, just like this. Now, before I go ahead and do anything else, I'm going to remove the lever at the top and see that right now the farm is running. We do not want that, so what we're going to go ahead and do is remove this one, and hopefully it will be off now, which it is. So now we're going to go ahead and set this up like this, and we can run our redstone. And now the way this is set up, whenever you pull that lever, the lamp will go on, and your farm will turn on as well. So if we go check, the tridents up here should now be running, which they are. And if we go ahead and flip that lever off, the tridents should now be off, which they are. Now, also go ahead and put 4 leaves in these locations, and go ahead and cover the top of your glass, again, so that there's no possibility of any raiders spawning. And now it is time for us to put in the villager. Once the villager is in, that will be it, and your farm will be fully operational. Now to put in the villager, you want to go up by 10 blocks from your AFK spot roof. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now here is where we're going to go ahead and put in the solid blocks for the bed to go on. We're going to put the bed on top of that. And then this needs to get completely surrounded in leaves. This way nothing can spawn and there's no possibility of any raiders getting to the villager. So we're just going to completely surround this, just like this. And then we're going to get our villager on top of the bed. And apparently I had bad omen because I just started a raid, and that is no good. You cannot get this set up if there's a raid going. So I'm going to have to go ahead and end this raid. I'll be right back. Alright, so there you go. The raid has been dealt with. So again, get your villager up here. Wait until it is nighttime. For me, I'm just going to do /time set night. Once that villager is in bed, we're going to put a layer of leaves up here, not directly above the bed. Leave a block of air and then do the leaves. Otherwise, the villager's going to glitch through them and it'll get all weird. Now, if it becomes daytime again, so you sleep through the night, the villager bops up. Next time it goes dark, he can get in his bed. That's all we want. Now we need to add some last layer of protection. So to do this, I'm going to do 2 on top. I'm going to do 2 on these sides. I'm going to do 4 on this side. I'm going to do 4 on the other side. And then here, I would like to do 2, but you can't because I'd block the chute. So this ends up being okay. And then out the bottom, you could do 2 if you wanted, but I don't see the need. They got the solid blocks there. And now, that is officially it. Your farm is all done and good to go. We can now come down to the bottom, flick this on, head on up to our AFK spot, click this on, go ahead and grab ourselves our looting 3 sword. It doesn't matter what the sword is, as long as it has looting 3 on it. The looting 3 effect does go to the trident, so if you're holding this in your hand while the trident killers are running, you end up getting anywhere from double to triple the rates that we talked about earlier easily. So that 500 emeralds could easily get turned into 1500, but only if you're holding a looting 3 sword. So now that we've gotten the bad omen effect, the raid should start. If it does not, like mine isn't, that means that the villager is too high. So right here at 172, oh, well then maybe it isn't, because 172 is what my mid coordinate's at, and the raid just started. So it should be good. But if it isn't working, the villager may be a block or two too high, and you may want to actually go ahead and lower the villager's chamber by a block. I had to fiddle with that a lot when designing this farm because there were issues with the villager being too high for it to actually start the raid from where I was. So keep that in mind if yours is not working right away. And that is it. The raid will now just run on through. All the items will drop out that chute. You'll see them appear in front of you. You, in survival mode, will collect all of the experience, and all the items will flow on by to go to your storage. Now, speaking of storage, this is what I've got set up right now. We are not going to cover storage in today's video because I already have tutorials for both normal item sorters and Allay item sorters up on the channel. I will link both down in the description below, so if you end up actually needing those when you're building yours, you can go ahead and use them. But since I do already have videos up on the channel, we are not going to be covering that in today's video. But to actually get your items to your storage, you're just going to have this drop chute, and wherever the hole is, align it with a hopper on the ground so that your items enter the hoppers in your storage system. Anyways, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. As you see, we have just discussed how to make this very easy raid farm. Fully works, very nice build, and you get some pretty good rates. I hope you all have enjoyed. And it's almost New Year. Today is Christmas. The New Year will be coming out very soon. And I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas and an even better New Year. Anyways, this has been Mr. Gaming Aquatic, and I'll see you all next time. Happy holidays!